Welcome to Men in Marriage. My name is Lamar Dixon. Today's guest is Mr. Joseph Marsh. He is a 3-year marriage veteran in the game, three beautiful kids. Welcome, brother.
Thank you for having me, brother. It's good to see you.
Good to see you as well. I know I gave a very high level overview of who you are. Is there anything else that you want to let everybody know before we jump into our questions?
No problem. So, like you said, my name is Joseph Marsh. I've been with my wife, married for 3 years, in a relationship for over 10 plus years, in addition to those three. Like I said, three beautiful kids. Just celebrated my oldest son's birthday yesterday. Coach, avid anime lover, shoe collector, lover of all things would probably be best to describe me.
Lover of all things. Okay.
Of all things, man. Peace and love.
All right. Well, just like always, we have three questions.
Mhm.
Same three questions that I'm asking everybody this season. Um, After those three questions are finished, we did get done talking about those. We open it up for open discussion. We can revisit one of the three questions that we talked about before, or you can ask me some questions, or we can talk about whatever it is that's on your mind.
Understood. Let's go.
All right. So the first question is, in your opinion, what is a man's role in marriage?
In my humble opinion, well, when you first gave me those questions, I was mulling it over, right? Like trying to take a list of everything that I check off and some of the things I didn't check off. And I'm in the hospitality industry. So my answer is going to be really tailored towards my experiences, not just in my marriage, but what I do for a living. And that's being a servant leader, right?
Okay.
So the main role for the husband is leadership. A lot of people talk about, oh, you're the head, you're the ace, you're the everything that comes first in a relationship. But what happens when you have to take a back seat, right? And a lot of people shy away from that and even turn their back on it. But I think that's the time for you really to step in. So understanding the needs of not only what your spouse needs, but your family as a family man, that our kids need stuff, your community and stuff like that. So that's where the service and servant part comes into it. So all of the tasks, all of the roles that we have eventually boil down to, are you serving somebody or are you being served? And you have to be able to distinguish what's needed at the time of each of those. Or I think you can't keep the continuity that I think a successful marriage needs without being able to do both, yin and yang.
So service and servant, and
Yeah.
just understanding which one that you play at any particular time in your marriage, basically.
Yeah, servant and leader, right? So yeah, like you said, just understanding what's needed at that time, because I can come up here and tell you all the ways that I led my family, but I think where I grew a lot was being a servant for my family, right? When I was seeing things kind of on the backside and was able to push and maneuver in a way that wasn't like, hey, you guys get behind me and follow what I'm doing. And especially speaking with your spouse, that's a tough conversation depending on who you are and who they are and where they're at in their respective minds. So if you are a kind of like a dictator or something like that, and you just tell people, sometimes that works for some people, but sometimes it doesn't. So sometimes you have to really just take a step back, understand what's needed in that moment, and you still be able to guide and push and not have to be in the forefront a lot of times.
I get that. I was trying to think of a leadership class that I've taken previously, and it was basically called "Leading from the Back."
Okay,
So basically, it sums up a little bit what you just mentioned.
absolutely.
Basically, you know what I'm saying, being not in the forefront, but being, in behind, but still pushing along
Hmm.
your agenda, I would say, but not making it your own.
Exactly.
So
As
I
you
think,
travel to the back, you pick up things that you see, right? And then that's the things that you kind of want to motivate. Like you said, I've been a manager as soon as I left college, right? I was in a manager role. I've taken different kind of trainings, modules. What is your leadership style and stuff like that? So again, being in the service industry, like one of the sayings is, you're the happiest when you're serving and the most unhappy when you're waiting to be served, right? And I think that's very profound because, if you really are having a crummy day, or if you're feeling bad, or your spouse is making you mad, just go do something for somebody else and see how you feel. Typically, it'll alleviate all of those feelings. And when you come back, you realize that, hey, stuff is bigger than just what I'm going through here. There's people in need, your spouses in need, your family's in need. So when you're looking to actively engage and give people more and more of you, you tend to they tend to start following because they understand that you understand what they actually need, and not just in the front saying, hey, this is what we're doing.
No, I get that, and I liked how you framed it. So where my mind is going when you said that is basically like before you were married, you're single, and it's all about you. So then, whenever you have a child, children, or married, then you personally take a back seat to all of that because now you're trying to provide for the children. You're trying to provide for what I'm saying, for your family, for your wife, this, that, and the other. So therefore, I understand what you mean by being a servant in a sense. Does that make sense?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So that makes perfect sense with how you just mentioned it.
Yeah, and you got to put a lot on that to being when you say take a back seat, right? That gets you get less and less thanks. You get less and less recognition each time you go back, and that's tough. And I know that probably segues into another question, but that's the tough part about that, right? Not wanting to be always seen in the front. Like my work experiences always keeps me in the back, but most people have no idea what I do, but it gets done, right?
Right.
And I carry at first it drove my wife wild because I would come home like, baby, I learned something at work and I want to try it out here like a guinea pig. But as I started to kind of home in on it and turn it into more of a relationship thing, not with just the people I work with, but at home, man, it did wonders.
No, yeah, it makes sense. And you just mentioned something about taking the back seat and the less and less thanks you get and accolades and things of that nature. But somebody had told me once before during a conversation that we had, it's like, man, being a married man and being a father in a marriage, I guess you could say,
Mm,
is a thankless job. So you do the things because they have to get done. Like you mentioned, like nobody knows what you do, but it gets done. So nobody sees or nobody is giving you the accolades or the praise for the things that you're doing because those are the things that technically, quote unquote, you're supposed to be doing. But being a man, which segues into the next question, you want to hear some of that stuff too as
yeah,
well.
yeah. Yeah, pats on the back just don't get it done. You want to, sometimes you want a certificate or just a little appreciation, a little extra gravy on your potatoes when you get home, just something, acknowledge what I've done.
Right. Yeah. So again, like that kind of leads into the second question, which is, do you believe a man's ego has to be stroked from time to time?
Don't stop stroking. That's
Don't
what
stop
I'm gonna
stroking.
say. Don't stop stroking, man. You have to, right? So I have this conversation a lot with people and compliments, and I feel like compliments are the precursor to ego, right? So people don't know how to take compliments. I'm not saying a lot of everybody, but people typically have a hard time taking compliments. Hey, this is nice about you. Like, oh, this thing they downgraded and neglected. So it's like, well, do you not feel that way? Like, why did you wear that? Why did you choose that? Why did
Right.
you do this? If you didn't want it, ego, I think, starts here, right? It starts with you and it exudes out. So when that compliment comes, it only reinforces what you already believe about yourself. I
Exactly.
like that personally, right? Stroke my ego every opportunity you get because that keeps me motivated and moving, especially if we want to say how many times we take a step back from situations and are in the background. I need that sometimes, and you never know what that actually will do. Like I said, I'm a coach, manager, stuff like that. Even when you're coaching, and we've been having a horrible season in flag football right now. So my ego was bruised, but coming home and everybody, my son telling me, hey, you did a good job. You motivated me. My wife telling me like, hey, it wasn't as bad as she think it was. And I think I'm a good coach. So that only helps bring out that ego that I have, that I'm a great coach, regardless of what the score is or what the
Right.
wins and losses are. But when you start struggling, it just only helps me be better. I don't know a time when that wouldn't be something somebody would want personally.
Nah, I mean, if you didn't get it and you start, weighing it on yourself, you can go down a rabbit hole yourself and be like, man, maybe, I didn't do a good job and nobody's telling you that otherwise. So you start to be like, yeah, maybe I didn't do a good job, or maybe I do suck at this or something like that. So then the deeper and deeper in your mind, you might start to get, and you need somebody to help, pull you up, which is, hey man, you did a good job. I appreciate you for doing this, that, and the other. We'll get them next time or something, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
To help, pull you back up a little bit.
Question: what percentage do you think are lies when they come from your spouse?
Say that one more time.
What percentage do you think are lies when they come from your spouse, when they're stroking your ego?
What percent?
Or a stretch of the truth? Do you think that that's included in sometimes the ego stroking? I believe
Yeah,
it should be. Yeah,
I
I
do.
believe it should be. I
Yeah,
believe
I
it
do.
should be. Lie to me. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Please do.
And I think that's a fearful thing that people don't talk about, like the small things that you do that kind of push and help kind of do it where you could go. I have a knack for going completely off field when it comes to certain things, and I've learned to kind of scale that back. But that's kind of the things that those little white tails help you achieve, especially when it comes to uh, the ego standpoint, especially from, we both have wives that have had a child and children or whatever, and just the contrast of what that dynamic between y'all two are after the child is, man, it's a tough place to navigate. And especially when a party may not feel like they felt prior or look like how they felt prior. I mean, the men go through different stuff as well, from the dad gut and, losing the job through COVID. It's certain things that if it's bruised, it's a deeper bruise than what the spouse can almost fix. So sometimes having somebody just stroke your ego and just kind of just pat you on the back and give you those accolades can definitely take you far.
Yeah, absolutely. And it goes both ways, as you just mentioned. So um, I think that the white lie, or nobody knows you like your spouse,
Yeah.
so they know when to tell you the truth and when to stretch it just a little bit, just to make sure that you keep going, so
Right.
so
So
yeah,
salute to y'all
absolutely.
who tell the white lies.
Yeah, so I tell me, yeah, absolutely. So even that even goes to, I would say, I think we was talking about this in the last episode that I had. Even in the bedroom, like stretch me, stretch it out a little bit. If
And
I'm
when I
not
say
putting it
stretch,
down,
you tell me, like,
lie to me. You know what I'm saying?
hey, I need those I need those hair salon conversations to be as long as possible. You
Yeah.
feel me? So yeah, that's tough, man. The bedroom talk that nobody wants to have, but you really should have with your partner, because again, you could think you doing one completely thing, and boy, I don't know this person in real life. I'm just hypothetical,
Okay. Yeah.
these people. But when you're having discussions with your partner and then you find out, we had a text about it. So I'm gonna go out here that what was homeboy name? DJ Envy.
DJ
And
Envy. Yeah, and
yeah,
his
finding
wife.
out what, yeah, I'm saying. So like you gotta have these talks, guys and ladies, about that. And when you're doing it, have it honestly, but know when to embellish if you need to. So
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, hopefully not for 10 years, like she was, embellishing for him. One or two times, maybe in the beginning, but not
yeah,
10
in the
years, not
beginning,
10
oh yeah,
years.
everything's perfect. Oh, but that's when you get the ego strokes, right? We get married and forget that you that dude, right? Or you
Hmm.
that chick, right? We will talk. Man, if you could see the text messages that I sent to my wife when we were first dating, you would have thought that like I was the president. But now it's like, hey, what you doing? Something like that. So every now and then, you gotta put your ego out there to let it get stroked and vice versa. So a lot of times we lose ourselves through the years. You have kids, and like I said, man, if you start feeling down about yourself, you don't really know how to give a compliment or receive a compliment. So having that partner there that kind of keeps that in check and those levels all right, definitely have to do.
I think that you just hit something that just sparked a thought in me. And it was basically talking about how to receive a compliment. And I think that going deeper into like your child, what I'm saying, you being raised as a child,
Mhm.
depending on how you was raised, whether or not you were given compliments or not, can
Right.
help or hurt your relationship as you get older and get married. Because if you don't know how to receive a compliment, it could be because of something that happened, what I'm saying, years ago to make you
Absolutely.
believe that, what I'm saying, you're not worthy of whatever accolade or, what I'm saying, something that somebody's trying to tell you.
And I think that's why it's so important to have not just men that are married on here, but fathers as well, because
Absolutely.
we both have daughters, right? And your daughter's very involved, my daughter's very involved. And a lot of these things are based off of her physical attributes, right? What she can do, what she looks like, and stuff like that. So she's in a world where compliments are a dime a dozen. Oh, look at your beautiful dress. Your hair is beautiful, stuff like that. And then my son goes out and puts shoulder pads and a helmet on.
Right.
And the only thing that you can give them is, oh, you bruised them, you knocked them up, good job, this, that, the other.
Or
But
if
how
you
do you
fall
get
down, get up.
yeah. So how do you flip that when you want a compliment from a young lady that my son might be presuming to be, hey, you look good today. He's like, I've never heard that. Like, I've never heard that. Or, hey, daughter, you are excelling in being able to do whatever task that is not attributed to women tasks.
Right.
And I try to actively do that so that when that comes, they've heard it before and they've heard it from a genuine place, so it doesn't feel like, oh, you just saying that. Or when we get older, those compliments turns to like deeper, darker, like DMs and stuff like that, really based off of just what that person sees and wants to do with you. So if I can start giving these compliments early and often, it just prepares them for later to understand and receive it as, yes, this is a compliment. No, that doesn't sound like a compliment. That's more so game. And
Right.
I'm just going
Exactly.
for that. So
Yeah. I'm writing something down because again, that conversation sparked something else, but I think I'm gonna save it for the open discussion.
okay.
So any other discussion on the second question on the
No,
ego? Or
that's
you
not it.
pretty got it?
Absolutely.
All right, cool. So we're gonna just keep on moving to question number three then. And question number three is, do you think your spouse should be your peace? And I've explained this a couple of times, and I'll explain it to you what
Okay.
I mean by that. So what I mean by that is when you walk outside of your house, there's a bunch of noise, meaning the world is throwing everything at you. You know what I'm saying? Good and bad. When you come home, you have your wife and you have your kids, but you know what I'm saying, do you expect peace to be in the house when you get home? Is the question basically.
No,
Specifically coming from your spouse.
no.
Okay.
I say that because I think you should be able to create your own peace, no matter where you're at. Soon as if you're given the scenario walking out the door, well, it sounds like I can avoid that noise if I wanted to. You know, self-awareness is very elusive for a lot of people, right? And being able to know what triggers you in an environment. Sometimes things will trigger you that you can't plan for, but most things you can kind of plan for, right? So if we go back to the first one I said, I'm a leader, right? My thing is I have four walls in my house, right? I protect those four walls with everything that I have. That
Right.
is my job, right? My wife
Right.
will as well, but I'll step in front of anything for that. That creates a peace right there, right? Nothing can penetrate that. The only thing that can penetrate that is things that are caused from inside the house. So that's why my house is typically peaceful. Well, I just added a newborn into that piece, right? That creates its own static. So finding peace is relative compared to what he wants right
It-
now. You
That's
know,
true.
so typically my wife is, if it was just me and my wife and my other kids, we could come home, we could chill, we could do everything. Now it's like, yo, my man's is crazy right now. Then you go outside and that affects you. So I don't think peace is anything besides what you make your peace to be. If you choose to have static in your house, that's on you. Like I don't think, or you don't have enough tools. Sorry, I mean you don't have enough tools to create a peaceful situation. You might want to get in touch with your inner child. You might want to get in touch with therapy. Mind you, therapy has helped me a lot with a lot of my answers right now. But a lot of that stuff is like you got to take onus for what you want to create in this world, right? All the all the men that I've seen that come across here is highly successful, married, of course, and doing great things. And I believe that when they walk out of it, they understand how to create their own peace. The guy who I'm talking to is the one who's teetering on, hey, I like her, but boy, she's bringing me a lot of toxicity. And I know that's a buzzword, but sometimes people like that stuff.
Right.
And if that's what you like, say that. Say, hey, I like, coming home and not know what's going on. Because there was a phase in my life when I liked the chaos that certain things brought, especially from the opposite sex. So if that's what you want, just say that. But if you want peace, you got to go actively create it. And when situations happen that are outside of your control, then you got to be able to be that leader and step in, address the situation, see what damage has been done, because a non-peaceful situation might not happen with just your spouse, it might not happen with just you. Like I said, my newborn just came in, loving to death, but that disturbed the peace, right? We're not getting sleep, we're waking up angry at each other, and we just couldn't understand why. So protecting your peace is, yeah, it's a self thing. It's not a anybody beside yourself, I don't believe.
I like that. Create your own peace, basically.
Yeah.
So I agree that you should create your own peace. One thing that my father had told me during my ups and downs in marriage. So 8 years of marriage for me. So of course, every marriage goes through its ebb and flows, ups and downs. But whenever I was going through some stuff, I was trying to seek some wise counsel. And I talked to my dad, and he told me, he said, "Hey, man, make yourself happy."
Yeah.
So that's all he said. He said, take it how you want to take it, but just make
Yeah.
yourself happy. Meaning that, creating your own peace
Yeah.
so that way you don't disrupt or do anything out of the norm, if
Right.
that makes sense.
BYOP.
BYOP.
Yep. Bring your own peace, man.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it made perfect sense once I, dug a little deeper into it and self-reflected, is that, hey, before I got married, I was happy.
Yeah.
When I'm married, I should still be happy,
Yeah.
because I'm not expecting you to make me happy. I should already be happy. You know what I'm saying? So we should be happy together. That's icing on the cake. And
Yeah.
not, I'm not expecting, what I'm saying, you to be, what I'm saying, my savior to, what I'm saying, make me happy, what I'm saying, every day out of the week. You know what I'm saying? I should be doing that myself.
Right. I think kind of going back to the ego and stuff, like if you look at life and yourself as like a 2K game, right? You're gonna have bars that like
Hmm.
agility, strength. I think that's the same thing with us, right? Yes, you can start pushing up, but you max out at a certain level. And if you want to be like that super creative player, a spouse on top of that only gives you a cheat code to help you do some of those things.
Right.
And if you look at it like what your father said was very prophetic, right? And it's always the simple, small things, right? It's like do your best, just the small things, and like I like being on the podcast. I like what you're doing and stuff, but a lot of the good stuff is just about this big. What they say, right?
Right.
My big thing was always like choose your heart, right? That's my thing. Being married is going to be hard, like you said, the ebbs and flows. Being single is hard too. Which hard do you want? Because they're both going to be equally, not equally hard, but they're both going to be hard. So, um, getting that information and just keeping it simple, like we said, we had this kind of in our text thread, but it's like, it's simple, guys. It really is. If you find it to be complicated, start with yourself first. Always
Yeah.
start with yourself first. You're going to be able to choose your happy, bring your own peace, have an ego, be a leader. Those things are going to be in you. Once you can really master those, that's when you start to look outside and say, okay, how am I affecting this? What are people receiving from this? Is this what my spouse even needs? I always see the 5 love language pop up and stuff like that. Boy, is that it's a cheat code, man. It's a cheat code. It tells you right there. It's like, hey, you like this? Well, let me Google how many ways I can do that. Like mine's an acts of service, right? I'm in the service industry. I don't know why everything's related to service, but like you could tell me you love me, buy me gifts, and that does stuff for me. And I appreciate it and keep doing that, sweetie. But when you come and you take a task off of me, boy, boy, that's when everything starts clicking. So yeah, it's simple, it's super simple. Be happy, uh enjoy your peace. When things do start turning around, look at yourself first, and then everything will fall into place. Not that hard.
It's not that hard. It's not. I mean, I used to tell myself all the time that life is not hard. We people make it hard. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So even marriage is not that hard. It's we
yeah,
make it hard too because we choose not to communicate, for example. So if something is bothering you and you just choose not to say anything about it, so you just let it fester, and then all of a sudden you just blow up one day, and be like, man, I'm done. And then
yeah.
your spouse is like, man, what happened? Like, I thought we were good.
You didn't see the signs. You didn't see
Right.
the you don't read my mind. That's crazy. Yeah.
So yeah, so I think that was great information there as well. So I think we've nailed those first three questions real, you know what I'm saying, real quick, ran through them. Any open discussion? You want to go back to anything or you want to
The
talk about something else?
expectations from season one, man. Yo, everybody had almost the same expectations. Everybody had equal expectations, man. I think mine's a little different, right? Like I was dating a lot longer than I've been married, right? So when I actually proposed, I felt married. The only thing that didn't feel married was like, we're going to continue to be the same people, correct? Right? And it did not happen.
Mm,
Like next day, it was like, dang, I really can't feel the way I felt about a certain situation because I'm married, right? I can't do a certain thing because I'm married. And I know a lot of people throw around that married thing, but I threw it around every day. Like, nah, I can't do that. I'm married, dog. I can't do that. Or nah, I can't go there, man. I'm married. So it was crazy to hear that like everybody's expectations kind of either feeling like gender norms or gender roles and stuff like that. And then it's the instant flash of like, this is just a piece of paper. Like this ain't this didn't change anything, but it automatically changes you. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Like if you're not ever always looking to change who you are from what you were, then you might as well marriage ain't for you. And having a partner that's open to doing that with you and growing with you is probably the most crucial part of that change. Because like I said, if you don't get that ego stroke, if you don't get somebody to pat you on the back, talk to you, coach you through, and lead in times that you're down, right? A lot of people don't talk about those moments when you
right.
perform in the way that you need to perform. And that's why I think that servant leadership is very important, because when you're in the back, you funnel through. So you take some of that stuff and you push it in them, like learning how to do things, teaching them how to do stuff. Like if I break my leg, my son knows how to cut the grass, right? If I can't use my hands, my daughter knows how to wash the dishes. And it's some of those things that we take for granted, but you gotta put in there because you may be incapacitated to be able to do your job, but it still needs to be done. So preparedness for your whole family is very crucial, and that's why you have to make sure that you just take stock of everything that's going around, learn from everything, and then push it back through your family.
No, I think that
Filter.
was you hit that, you know what I'm saying, that's spot on. I mean, real talk. I think that one of the things that I was looking for before I got married was like same things that you just mentioned. Like if something happens to me, will you be able to take over in
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is that needs to be taken, you know what I'm saying, taken care of. And um and doing the ups and downs, of course, when things are down, you be like, man, you can't do nothing right. You know what I'm saying? But then, what I'm saying, you get off your high horse and be like, all right, yeah, no,
All
I
right,
was tripping.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was my biggest breakthrough, right? Like, I remember losing my job, and I was in the backseat, right? At the time, I was making the money. I'm out of school. Like, I'm doing everything, but I couldn't take care of my kids, right? Like, I didn't even know how to do that, right? I
Mhm.
hadn't spent time with them. And through that, it just kind of, oh, well, if I'm not doing this, maybe I'm not doing this right. And I'm not doing this right. And that's when she just kind of was like, yeah, I try to tell you, you big dodo. But I'm like, well, I'm in the front. Like, look at all the stuff that I'm doing. And you just gotta, if it wasn't for her checking me like that, I don't think I would be on this. I don't think I'd be on this podcast right
Right.
now. Just
Yeah.
so
It's a lot of stuff that they bring out of us that we don't really realize until, what I'm saying, maybe, what I'm saying, sometime later.
yeah.
And vice versa, what I'm saying? And that's the beautiful thing about marriage, honestly, is
Yeah.
that we are pulling each other up. And because you see something in her and maybe she didn't see, and she sees something in you that, I'm saying, that you didn't see.
Yeah, and I like the face you made. It's like it's not puzzling. Like it's just like, dude, it's super easy. Like don't overcomplicate these things, guys. It's really a conversation. And if you don't know, my biggest thing is the way me and my wife stay connected and communicate. We have Wine Down Wednesday, right? Every Wednesday, that's when we sit down and we just discuss stuff, right? So if it could be, hey, you taking up too much of the bed, or hey, what we finna spend our money on, or just enjoy each other as a date night without having to go out.
Mhm.
So we started that maybe 4 years ago, and that's what really kind of just keeps us grounded in each other to see, all right, what are we doing, and it's a lot easier to have those conversations over a drink, just being honest. Like if you want something, get you a nice wine and then then explain it. Guarantee it's gonna work every time.
So I mean, you're talking about wine now. So what is a good wine recommendation
Okay, so I switched to whiskey Wednesdays personally.
then?
So I'm drinking Eagle Rare. Love it. It's a good, really good bourbon. But wine, man, to be honest, wifey drinks like the Moscatos and stuff. I'm not a fan. I'm a red type person myself, so I couldn't give you that recommendation. But if you want a whiskey one, Eagle Rare, that's the way to go.
Okay. So what is it comparable to?
Uh, Buffalo Trace, if you're
Buffalo
familiar.
Trace. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, same wheelhouse, same everything, very smooth. I don't like very high proofs. Like I'm not 20, my stomach sucks. Like I just need a nice cool drink, couple of ice. Um, then you get into your higher tiers, probably the stuff that you drink.
Why had to be me?
What is your drink of choice?
Right now it's actually Woodford Reserve Double Oak.
Double oak. Okay, okay. So
Yeah.
you like rise?
No.
No, you know the Woodford rye is really good. The Woodford rye is really
Yeah,
good.
I don't like the Woodford rye. That rye taste is just not, it don't hit for me.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But yes, Woodford is really good. Double oak even better. So yeah, you're a bourbon guy. I'm only like 15 minutes from Kentucky, so makes it easy to go up there and get me some good stuff.
Yeah. Good. So do you have any questions or anything else you want to bring up?
My brother, man, we good. I think so. No, I just wanted to answer those questions from last season because that's man, you just really think about yourself before you got on the knee, before you did the preparation, before you get the ring, and then you just get hit with everything that comes behind it. And this has been the best part of it, right? Everything that came behind it has been the best part. But boy, I thought it was going to be different. And I had the crazy thing, I had a large sample size. The 10 years, you would think that I would be like, oh, well, it'd probably be more the same than different. But we didn't have those conversations, right? And when we finally did, I realized that maybe this way that we're doing it now is probably a little bit better what I had in my mind. Like you said, I had a tendency to not communicate at all or effectively, but now she won't tell. I tell me to shut up a lot because as soon as something hit me, yo, I got a question about that, or we'll table it to Wednesday, so that we can be on the level playing field. It's very hard to argue or get your point across when you're arguing. So we try to keep that at a minimum and come back in a couple of days and actually discuss the stuff.
So I guess to sum it up, then you was talking about being a leadership, service, and servant. Those different things. Then you was talking about counseling. You did mention that, and how the good, understanding each other's good and bad, creating your own peace. Good, wind down Wednesday recommendation, trying to make sure that, the communication street is still open.
Yeah, do it. Add hookah if you feel frisky.
But I appreciate you for coming on. I enjoyed the conversation. Also, you bringing in the other couple of questions from for season 1, answering those.
I did my homework, man.
Yeah, I see.
There's a lot of good men that came on here, and a lot of their advice I've used, I will continue to use, and I thought that I could leave some of mine on here for all your viewers, and hopefully they'll be on here one day.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah. Thank you again. This is the reason for the podcast, again, is to help teach and tell brothers, young men who are thinking about getting married, the ups and downs, the highs and the lows, as well as talking to other married men who may be going through divorce or thinking about it, or even just need to, people who just want a reminder about why they got married. This is just a platform for us to just have discussion. Season 1 was about expectations and things of that nature. Season 2 is just more of the left field type questions. So again, brother, I appreciate you for coming on, and I hope that someone watches this podcast and gains a little bit of knowledge from it, just from the things that we talked about today.
Absolutely.
So before we go though, is there any way people that might want to get in contact with you, whether it be Facebook, IG, TikTok, whatnot?
I just updated my LinkedIn profile, so I want to steer everybody towards that. Definitely taking some IT classes. I got some more aspirations outside the hospitality industry. So Joseph Marsh on LinkedIn, I'm the Black guy. If you want to follow me on IG, Blark Kent, BLARK KENT. Go check out my man Mike Floss on IG as well. This is his shirt. This album that just came out, so shout out to him. But yeah, that's where you can find me. If not, hit up Lamar and we can have a personal conversation if need be, if you have any questions about what I said or any comments. I do read comments. So if you put it in the YouTube below, I definitely will hit you back. I like to engage. Reddit, I really like Reddit too. So Blark Kent on there too. Don't look at what I follow though.
All right, bro. So I appreciate your conversation. Yeah, good to see you, brother. And I appreciate you again. So this is Men in Marriage, season 2. This is episode number 4.
If you do 2 times 4, that's 8.